today I want to be showing you ladies an exercise to do to help to really strengthen your mid-back, create more space along your spine, which ultimately can help you to say goodbye to neck pain and low back pain. And I'm also going to be incorporating and teaching you a fascial technique to lengthen the entire fascial line of your body. And so ladies, when I'm talking about fascia, just to reiterate really briefly, fascia is one within our entire body. And so many times when we think of wanting to become stronger or even wanting to stretch our body, we really need to focus on lengthening and creating space and being lightly connected through our entire body. So as I go into teaching you ladies this exercise, it's not just about getting a bigger range of motion and a bigger connection through that area. It's about listening to your entire body, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and lay on my stomach. And when we do these, I'm gonna show you ladies a swan prep. I'm gonna keep my range of motion really small. And so that's one of the biggest mistakes I see people making is we think, oh, we have to have this big range of motion. A lot of times instructors will teach that. And sometimes, yes, I'll teach a bigger range of motion. But I'm always instructing my students to please listen to your body and keep your range of motion in a small range where you can feel the connection through the mid-back, hopefully feel a little bit of core connection and feeling length all the way through your body, okay? So I'm really gonna break this down. So when we start this, what I recommend is you can even just put your hands initially right underneath your forehead. I'm gonna keep my head up so you ladies can hear me. But what I want you to do, I want you to relax your entire body to begin with. And I want you to take a nice deep breath through your nose, breathing all the way down into your low back. And it's okay if you don't feel this right away. This is a learned technique, but as we learn to breathe into our low back, we can release a lot of tension in our low back. Okay, so try that again. And then as you exhale, start to think about lightly connecting that pelvic floor, lower belly, relax those shoulders, keeping a light connection. And then I want you to move your hands back by your side here. Okay, so making sure those hands are back. Then what we do, and you can place your head all the way down to relax on the mat, I'm not going to, but what I want you to do is your legs are open out kind of to the edges of your mat, and I want you to think about reaching long through the legs. Okay, so we're not just activating our glutes, we're activating the quads, the front of our thighs, which is gonna help us to create more space through that psoas line that can get really tight, through our hip flexors, which can get really tight. And then we wanna make sure that we're not over clenching our glutes, which is like, if we really squeeze those glutes, we shut off our deep core and our quads. So we wanna reach long through those legs, and by having that fascial tensegrity and that reach that way through the legs, we're gonna feel so much stronger up through our back and our core and our neck, okay? So we don't just wanna rely on our upper body here. There's a lot of leg activation happening. So find that connection again if you need to. Deep breath into your low back. Reach long through those legs, quads are lightly on. And then from here, we're gonna gently draw those shoulder blades back towards each other. We're not pinching, we're not gripping, we're not forcing a move ever. From here, what I want you to think about is reaching long through the legs, connecting up through the core, and start to lift from that mid-back, bringing your head up and just looking at the front of your mat. That's it, like I barely lifted. And then I want you to inhale, lower on down, and you can let those shoulders relax. Take a deep breath into your back, and then gently draw those shoulder blades back towards each other, lifting up. So I want to feel like we're elongating through like the back of the neck, through the top of the head. As we lift, ladies, you should not be putting a lot of pressure all in those hands. They're really just kind of there initially for slight support. And as we get better at this, we can start to push our hands down into our mat and pull back. So we give our body some traction, some tensegrity. You're gonna feel that middle back so much more. And then control, let's just go part way down here. Give yourself a quick little release, but keep reaching through the legs. Keep lightly zipping up through that core. Exhale, shoulder blades drawing lightly back together. Lifting just a little bit. Start to bring your head up a little bit. Make sure you're not looking at the wall in front of you, because if we're doing that, we're pinching in our cervical spine and in our neck. And that's where we can tend to get a lot of neck pain, ladies. So we wanna visualize from our toes through our pelvis to the top of the head, there is one long fascial line that we're connecting with. Good, and then we're gonna go ahead and release. Go back into a little child's pose. I always like to do some flexion after we've done that. Deep breath, and then exhale, round up. Good, do one more. And round and come all the way up. So when we're working that extension move, ladies, the biggest mistake that we make is we want too much range of motion. We dump in our low back, and we're trying to pull with our neck. So hopefully this helps to break it down for you so you start to recognize that we want to be fascially connected, which means we're not gripping through our muscles. We're just keeping this light connection, and then it is actually okay to have a really small range of motion, especially when we're really trying to get our body out of pain and dysfunction. We have to stay out of pain and dysfunction when we're doing our moves. So an exercise should never leave you feeling in pain. The only thing you should be feeling from doing an exercise is feeling like, oh wow, I can feel my mid-back now, and it's gonna remind me to that's what I'm using to help to support my neck and my head, versus me trying to rely on my neck to do all the work, right? We tend to put so much stress on our neck, and it's there to support and lengthen. It's not there to do all the heavy lifting, okay? And that's the power of strengthening. We should use strengthening to really build our body up. It should never leave us feeling any aches and pains.